crime, let's look at what is computer crime. These computer crime, it poses a huge threat to the integrity, safety, and survival of most e-business system. So if you're carrying out business or if you're conducting businesses online, so there is a risk of computer crime as well. So these computer crime, it poses a grave or serious threat to your to the business system, to the integrity of the business system, to the safety of the business system, and to the survival of your businesses, right? And so making the development of, yes, and so making the or development of effective security method is a top priority for the businesses. Okay, so their system must be upgraded. Security must be very up to date, right? So computer crime, it poses a serious threat to the integrity, to the safety and survival of most e-business systems, and it makes making the development of effective security method is a top priority. Okay, so here computer crime, what are the computer crime that is given by Association of Information Technology Professionals, AITP. Okay, so according to these association, computer crimes include the unauthorized use, access, modification, destruction of hardware, software, data, or network resources. There is an unauthorized use, authorized access, modification, destruction of hardware, software, data, or network resources. Okay, and computer crime also include the unauthorized release of information, and it also include denying an end user access to his or her own hardware, software, data, or network resources, and using or conspiring to use computer or network resources to illegally obtain information or tangible property. Okay, so these are computer crime. And suppose you have your account. Okay, maybe you have a bank account. Suppose you're locked out, you're denied your access to your own account, account. These all are also kind of computer crime. Okay, denying an end user access to your software, maybe, or maybe to your hardware, to your data or network resources. Okay, and unauthorized release of information, unauthorized copying of software, unauthorized use of hardware, software, unauthorized access, unauthorized modification of data or network resources. All these are computer crime. Okay, and let's look at what is cyber crime. So cyber crime, just one second. Let's look at cybercrime. Okay, cybercrime, it includes, or it encompasses any criminal act dealing with computers and networks called hacking. Okay, it encompasses any criminal act dealing with computers and network. So it also includes traditional crime that is being conducted through the internet. So traditional crime that is conducted using through the internet or through the cyberspace, that is known as cybercrime. So it encompasses any criminal act that deals with computers and networks, and it includes traditional crimes that is conducted through the internet. Okay, so example here it's given, hate crimes that may be conducted through the cyberspace, through the digital environment, digital space, telemarketing, and internet fraud. Right, you may have heard of telemarketing, or people calling you through the telephone or maybe through internet, providing you loans. Right, all these things are telemarketing and internet fraud. Okay, and identity theft, credit card account theft, all these things are considered to be cybercrime when these activities, illegal activities, are committed through the use of a computer and the internet. Okay, so hate crime can be conducted not only in the physical world but also in the virtual world. So hate crime can be committed where the victims, there is an intention to harm the victim, and telemarketing and internet fraud is also a cyber crime that is used to deceive other people and to harm the other people, maybe physical harm or maybe any other type of harm. Okay, so an identity theft, your identity may be stolen and being misused. That is also cybercrime. And credit card account theft, right? So your credit card, there can be criminals looking for your data and then stealing your data and using your credit card account. Okay, so these all are cybercrime. And also cybercrime includes offenses. Okay, it also includes offenses that are, just one second. So cyber crimes are committed with a criminal motive. Okay, there is a criminal motive to intentionally harm the reputation, or it may be to cause physical or mental harm, or maybe loss to the victim, maybe directly or indirectly, using modern telecommunication network like the internet, the chat room. You're being deceived in the chat room through emails, through notice board and groups and mobile phones, right? Sometimes you receive a message that you have won this much amount of money, so for that, you have to deposit this much amount of money to claim whatever you have won. Okay, that is also fraud, right? That is not true. So that is conducted through email, maybe through internet or through mobile phones. So all these things are cybercrime. So cybercrime includes offenses that are committed against individuals or maybe group of individuals with a criminal motive, with a motive to deceive others, with a motive to commit a crime. Okay, so there is a motive, um, a criminal motive to intentionally. Okay, there's an intention to harm the other people, to harm the reputation of the victim, or to cause physical or mental harm or loss, or to the victim directly or indirectly, or using modern telecommunication networks such as internet, like the chat rooms, the emails, notice board and groups, and also mobile phone. Okay, and cybercrime also threaten the, it may also threaten the nation's security and financial health. And issues that surrounding these types of crimes, it have become high profile, particularly those surrounding hacking and copyright infringement, or any offenses that is against children. Okay, so there are also problems of privacy when confidential information are being intercepted or disclosed lawfully or otherwise. Okay, so there can be uh, at international level, internationally talking, both government and non-state actors can engage in cyber crimes. Okay, maybe through cross-border crimes or financial theft. So any activity that crosses international borders and involving the interest of at least one nation state is also known as cybercrime. Okay, so the international legal system is trying to hold those people, the criminals or the actors, accountable for their actions through the International Criminal Court as well. So there is a criminal motive to intentionally harm the reputation, maybe physically or mentally, and it also threatens a nation's security and financial health. Okay, so I've already explained, I think. So I think maybe 2-3 years ago, so the financial system has been attacked. There is a cyber attack on the financial system, like known as a ransomware. So all the financial account or the security system have been locked by this ransomware that is being spread or distributed or used by the cyber criminals. Okay, so they've locked the financial system, and most of the financial institution security system are being hacked, and they lock their account. Okay, so to gain back the excess of the account of this financial institute, the term itself, ransom, they're asking for ransom. So these all are cyber attack. So if you can search on your own, you can just search ransomware or cyber attack on the financial system. So it threatens the nation security and financial health. And then in case of ATM also, so there are a lot of ATM fraud that's happening in the cities, right? So people are cloning your ATM card, and then they're swiping as much as they like, right? It happens to my friends as well. So the ATM card cloning and the ATM frauds, these all are also a part of computer as well as cyber crime. Okay, so it threatens the nation's security and financial health, and any activity that crosses international borders and involving that involves the interest of at least one nation state is known as a cyber warfare. Okay, and let's look at computer crime. So what is computer crime? So computer crime involve criminal activities that are traditional in nature and that can be subjected to criminal sanctions everywhere. So these are traditional traditional crime, the criminal activities that are traditional in nature, such as theft, such as fraud, such as forgery. All of these can be subjected everywhere to criminal sanctions. Okay, so let's look at the common types of computer crimes. So the common types of computer crimes are forgery. As you know, what is forgery? Fraud by system manipulation intentionally, any modification that is done to the programs or to the database or to the data are considered to be computer crimes, and also accessing computers without authorization, these are all computer crime. Okay, and you have uh, one has to know the difference between annoying behavior, distinction between annoying behavior from criminal behavior in law. Okay, under law there is a difference between criminal behavior and annoying behavior. So but since we're talking about cyber crime and computer crime, all these crime will come under IT Act. Okay, anything that's relating to information technologies, internet, computers will come under Information Technologies Act 2000. I think you've already studied under your business laws, right? So under IT Act 2000, no this definition, no description has been categorically made between this computer crime and cyber crime. So it's very difficult to differentiate between these two words. Okay, and then but there is a difference between computer crime and cyber crime. So as we all know, cyber crime means a crime that is conducted in a virtual space, in a virtual world, through digital environment using digital technologies. But computer crime can be it can happen in physical space with or without the network. So if you sit at one place and then you have, if you're using or if you are unauthorized user, then that also can become computer crime, right? So computer crime is somewhat different from cyber crimes is somewhat different from computer crime. So computer crime can happen in physical space with or without the network. Cyber crime can take place in a virtual space through a digital environment. Okay, so that is one basic difference between computer crime and cyber crime. So cyber crime, the term itself, cyber crime, cyber, so the crime happens in the virtual world. Okay, so the traditional cyber crime is a traditional crime that is conducted or that is committed using the internet, through the internet. All right, so let's look at the difference between cyber crime and conventional crimes or traditional crime. So there are differences between the cyber crime and conventional crime. First is evidence of the offenses. So if you look at the traditional crime, suppose one person got murdered uh, at his place. So what will happen? That is a case of traditional criminals, right? Traditional crime. So usually traditional criminals will usually leave traces of that crime. Maybe their fingerprints, maybe other physical evidences, or maybe some kind of personal belongings will be left behind to trace the traditional criminals. But in case of cybercrime, the forensic investigators find it very difficult to catch these cyber criminals because uh, just the criminals are just sitting in front of the computers. They are using pseudonyms for their identification. So it is very difficult for, there is a great difficulty, it's very difficult for gathering evidences that could lead to conviction of these cyber criminals. Okay, because criminals can change their identities. You can look at the YouTube comments itself, right? Everyone watches YouTube, so you can see the identities, their identities are not real. So at that small level also, it's very difficult to identify who is the real user, right? So imagine if a criminal tries to attack, commit a cyber crime, how difficult it will be to identify the person committing that cyber crime, right? So evidences of the offense, in case of traditional crime, it's much more physical evidences may be left behind, but evidence of the offense is very difficult in case of cyber crime. And then as a result, the length of investigation is very uh, long. In case of cybercrime, it takes a longer period of time to identify the cyber criminals. But in case of traditional crime, conventional crimes, since, like I've already said, maybe the fingerprints may be left behind, some personal belongings may be left behind, a blood sample, maybe a DNA may be left behind, right? So these make it much more shorter of an investigations for traditional crime. Okay. The third is constitutional law. Uh, there is a law in the Constitution has given under Article 20 that says that no person that is accused of any offense, they shall be compelled to be a witness against himself. So cyber criminals can use these provisions that is given under the Indian Constitution to deny the investigators that any evidences that could lead to the prosecution of the cyber criminals. Okay, so this constitutional law implies that even in a situation where these cyber criminals are being apprehended, the trial process may take long unless these investigators gather their evidences about the crime. Okay, so there is much more, not I wouldn't say protection, but some kind of lacking in the law itself, where the cyber criminals have some kind of they can hide. Okay, and then next is use of force. Most of the traditional crime uh, most of the traditional crime that is being committed involve excessive use of force, right? Traditional crime may include, let's say, murder, so it includes use of force, maybe stabbing with a knife, or maybe gagging with a rope, right? So rape, burglary, among others. These all involve use of force that results in physical injury or trauma on the victim. But on the other hand, cybercrime, they do not require any use of force, right? The criminals will use the identities, false identities, or maybe the identities of the victim to steal personal information such as credit card numbers from their victims, or they can use emails to coordinate violence remotely. So use of force is in case of physical traditional crime, but in case of cyber crime, there is no use of force, just an identity or any vulnerable data of the victim is being used to make this cyber attack. Okay. And the next point of difference between cybercrime and conventional crime is the scale of attacks. So cyber attacks can be conducted on a scale that is not possible in the physical world. Imagine, let's say, a group of people trying to rob a bank. So they can rob a bank. How the maximum number of time they can rob a bank in a day? You can just imagine. Maybe let's say it will take 2-3 hours to rob a bank, right? So in a day they can rob maximum, let's assume, let's say 2 to 3 banks in a day. But let's hope they don't rob our bank, right? But in a virtual world, cyber attack, they can target hundreds and thousands of websites, security system. Okay, so the scale of attack is much higher in the virtual world. Okay, and the reach of attack, cyber attacks can be from anywhere in the world. They can be performed anonymously and within jurisdiction where the consequences of these actions may not or can be addressed by the criminal justice system. Okay, so the attackers are able to extract far more data digitally than they would be than would be possible in the physical world. Okay, so reach of attack is very high in case of cyber attack, cyber crime, and comparing with the traditional. Okay, and the speed of attack is also high because the cyber attacks are conducted at machine speed, right? So a criminal can just write a piece of code, or can just upload one virus or maybe one software or malware, and then the whole system will be locked in just within a second. right? So speed of attack is also very high. And another thing is the point of difference between cybercrime and conventional crime is the public and the media perception of cybercrime is different from a conventional crime, right? When large financial institutions they are being hacked, the media often blame the organization rather than the criminals. But that is not the case in case of physical bank robbery, right? See, if a criminal uploads some kind of malware attack to the security system of the financial institute, okay, then whole the media will blame the security system, the vulnerability of this the lacking in the security system of the financial institute. But what will happen if the robbers rob the bank physically? The most of the media and the people will blame the people, the actors that are responsible for these robbing, right? So all these perception and media effect is also one point of difference between cybercrime and conventional crime. So this is just an introduction of what is cybercrime, what is computer crime, what are conventional crimes. Okay, so cybercrime include any crime, traditional crime that is conducted through the internet. Computer crime can be conducted with or without, in a physical world, with or without the network. Okay, the main point of difference between computer crime and cyber crime is that computer crime can happen in physical world. Cyber crime happens in a virtual world, virtual space, and in a digital environment. Okay, and another is the difference between cybercrime and conventional crime. The evidence of the offenses is much more clear in case of traditional crime. Length of investigation is much shorter in case of traditional crime because of the evidences that the investigators find in the crime scene. And constitutional law provisions also there is also advantages on the part of the cyber criminals. There is a use of force in case of physical or traditional crime. Scale of attack is much higher in cyber attack. Reach of attack is higher. Speed of attack is very fast. Perception media effect is not the same in case of cyber and conventional crime. Okay, is it clear? So we'll continue with these different kinds of cyber crimes and different types of these concept under cyber crime in the next class. Okay, is it okay? Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. See, I will be taking your attendance in a Google form again. Okay, I will post that Google form in the in your WhatsApp group. All right. So it will be open for just 1-2 minutes. So write your roll number, attendance, and your section, and I will close after 2 minutes. Okay. So this is, if you have any doubt, you can ask. So this is just the concept of what is cybercrime, computer crime, etc. Okay, I don't have the book right now. I'm just I'll just later I'll tell you which book to refer to. All right. So if you have any question or doubt, you can ask. Otherwise, I'll end the class here. And one thing, my Google Meet is not responding. That's why I'm using Zoom. So I'm not also very familiar with Zoom. So I'm learning how to use it side by side. Okay. So if you have any doubt, you can ask. Otherwise, I'll end the session here. I'll post it on the WhatsApp group. Okay. The Google form. Fine.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Next class. All right. Since I've already taken your class in the last semester, so I'll be muting the video this semester. I hope you don't mind. All right. Okay then. Thank you. See you in the next class.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.